Listen, on your journey to developing an aesthetic physique, you are bound to encounter a whole bunch of mistakes. Lord knows that I definitely did, and I overcame them. I learned from them, and that allowed me to progress a whole lot more. So without further ado, guys, there is a whole lot of mistakes out there, you can imagine, but I just want to give you 5 things that I wish I knew before I started training. So I'm not going to lie to you and say that I was some sort of expert when I entered the gym. In fact, pretty much every single person who enters the gym is starting off at the same point. Whilst they'll have different physical capabilities, they will always have that lack of acumen. They will have that lack of understanding exactly how to go about doing things. But in terms of actually getting started at the gym, one thing that people overlook, and something that I actually overlooked in the beginning, because when I did join the gym, I joined the wrong kind of gym. It is such an important part of the process that not a whole lot of people focus on. So the first thing that I wish I knew before I started training was that the gym you go to matters. You'll find that oftentimes our enjoyment is not caught up in what we are doing, but the environment that we actually find ourselves. Now, I'm extremely fortunate to have found a gym that I absolutely love training at. It offers the facilities that I need, the equipment, and everything else in between. But for you guys, you might need a completely different gym. The first gym that I joined was just not the gym for me. This is just a typical commercialized gym where really the objective there is to get you guys to sign into a contract so you can pay month to month regardless of whether or not you go. It's not a good place to be. Wherever you find yourself, the likelihood is that there are going to be a handful of gyms around. It's a competitive market, and I guarantee you there's not just going to be one that you have to choose from. And even if that one is the only one nearby and it absolutely sucks, maybe considering just moving a little bit further away in terms of actually driving. You don't have to move houses, but you can just drive a little bit further. Whether it's an extra 10-minute commute, it might be worthwhile for you to actually stick to your goals and achieve them. Now, once you found that gym that you thoroughly enjoy, it's so important to make the most of the equipment that they have to offer. Now, a lot of gyms are going to offer a whole range of equipment. It's going to be barbells, dumbbells, it's going to be machines, it's going to be fixed machines, maybe plate loaded, maybe pin loaded, maybe very uncomfortable machines, maybe very good, efficient machines that feel good to use. But one thing I wish I really knew before I started training was that free weights are the most important thing. And by free weights, I mean dumbbells, barbells, anything that is not moving on a fixed movement. So anything that you have control of where the weight actually goes. Now, there's many reasons why you will want to stick to free weights as opposed to only using machines. It pretty much takes all the stability muscles out of the movement. It does not allow you to actually find the ways of moving. It doesn't develop those nice patterns. You're just moving on a strict movement and the machine's pretty much doing all the work for you as opposed to you actually lifting the weight. So free weights, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It's going to teach you how to properly execute the movement patterns, and it's also going to grow your muscles. But this is not something that I did when I first started out. I guarantee you that the high majority of people when they first start out, they shy away from those dumbbell, barbell, bench press, deadlift kind of rooms. They do not like to go near those. They like to stick around and congregate towards the strict movement machines, pin out, pin in, because it is very, very easy, and that is a very big reason why they get drawn to it. But I guarantee you, if you just do the hard yards in terms of the beginning stages, because free weights are tough. I remember when I first got on a bench press, no weight whatsoever with a buddy of mine. You pick the weight up and it's not even that it's heavy, it's just so hard to keep it stabilized because you have never ever developed those muscles. Now, there's no doubting that keeping your form right in the beginning stages is going to be harder with free weights, but something that could help with that, and something I really wish that I did from the beginning, straight off the bat, was to film more or take photos, just do things that are going to help me document the process. I'll tell you what, progress can be slow at some times, and in those moments, it can be very, very easy to think about giving up or think about quitting. You might be starting to think that, oh, well, I'm just not making progress, I'm not really seeing much, and that's because the day-to-days, you do not notice those incremental changes. It's like watching a kid or a little brother or a son or a daughter grow up. You don't notice their developing changes until you look back at the photos of them being 2, 3, and you're like, holy moly, they grow up so fast. And the same goes with you. You do not notice these day-to-day small improvements. So it's so important to document the changes so that if you are ever feeling down and you feel like you're not making any gains, you feel like you're not making progress, you can look back at where you were when you started, those incremental changes, and you go, wow, that was where I was, and I really have made a lot of progress. I gotta keep at it. That's the only way to keep moving in the direction you wanna go. Now, the fourth thing that I wish I knew is definitely a bit of a ball buster for some, especially if you are a bit younger, because I found that when I was going to the gym, it was good. I was training, I was doing the hard yards in there, I was working quite efficiently and pushing myself. But outside of the gym, I was pushing myself in another way. I was pushing the limits of alcohol. I was definitely binge drinking on the weekends. I was getting quite drunk, quite lit, as the kids will say these days. But pretty much I would be working hard throughout the week, Monday to Friday. I'd be killing my workouts, putting in a lot of effort, being consistent, making progress, sort of. But then, you know, I'll come to the weekend and I'll smash a lot of drinks, I'll smash a lot of alcoholic beverages, and then I'll wake up on Sunday morning and I'll just be an absolute zombie. And that is not even the beginning of it. So Sunday morning, you can count that day out completely. Monday, you could pretty much count out completely. You sure you might make it to the gym, but getting to the gym, you still feel a bit groggy. You still, you know, you haven't eaten enough, or you've eaten too much out. You know, you drink a little bit and you get some burgers, you get some kebabs or whatever the hell. And then you get in on Monday and you just feel lethargic. You don't feel nearly as strong as you can. And something that I wish I knew when I first started was how anti-progress alcohol really is. I promise you that if you're binge drinking on the weekends, you are cutting out a gigantic amount of potential for gains within the gym, especially if you're trying to burn fat. It's gonna make it incredibly, incredibly hard. And if you are someone who likes to drink a lot and you're thinking, oh, well, I just can't give it up, the best thing you could do is just cut it back. Moderation is the absolute key for this. So obviously the more you do it, the worse it's gonna be. The more you drink each night or on those occasional nights that you go out, the worse it is gonna be. So keep that intact if you really wanna optimize your progress. Now, this last thing is not something that I have specifically struggled with myself, but it's something I see so many beginners getting caught up in. So many people who actually join the gym. I'm so sorry. The gym. I just thought of Homer Simpson going to the thing and be like, a gym? What's a gym? Oh, a gym. And I just called it a gym. Holy shit. But a gym, the first time you join a gym, it's not enough for you to just join the gym. So many people think that that is accomplishing something. Just like I mentioned, going to those commercial gyms, getting signed up to a contract, you're paying the bill, but it only counts if you actually go. So if you are paying the bill and you're only going maybe once a week, do not expect to get much out of it. So many people think that joining the gym, buying a whole bunch of new athleisure wear or a brand new pair of Nike runners for the new year is gonna do a whole lot, but it's not. You need to get in the gym. So please, for the love of God, do not just sign up to a gym and just leave it there collecting dust like a proverbial piece of furniture in the side of the thing that you bought and you've never used. All right? Join the gym and actually go to the gym. So I hope you did enjoy these 5 things that I wish I knew before I joined the gym and started training. So if you did, let me know by dropping a like on this and commenting down below. Absolutely anything. If you want me to do a part 2 for this, I do have another 5 things that I definitely wish I knew. So I'll get on that ASAP if that's something you want to see. Let me know down in the comments as well. And I'll catch you in the next one. Arigato, Mr. Roboto.